sailing bold with mics in hand, two holy fools upon the strand, a rabbi wise, a friar stout, both prone to sing, both prone to shout. What the frock is going on here, we may not know, but still we cheer. Raise your voice, your glass, your brow, because the frock is happening now.
Good morning, America. How are you? I am Rabbi Dave, and I am wearing my home uniform, while Rod, Good Friar, is wearing green because he is the away team.
Good morning, America. Is it really a good morning? It isn't, because Newcastle lost this morning, although it was just kind of a blah game overall, I think.
Yeah, I turned on the game just as Crystal Palace was scoring, so
yeah,
it was kind of pointless at that point.
It wasn't an exciting game at all.
I got news for you, man. They never are.
There's sometimes they are.
Incomprehensible
I
singing.
I knew you were going to complain about the singing, and I knew you were going to complain about the added extra time.
Yes, the added extra time. It wasn't just added extra time. It was added to the added time.
Yeah.
Because apparently Europeans have not figured out how to stop the clock.
Well, the referee manages the clock so that nobody else outside of the field manages it. That's the whole reason.
Right. The NFL used to do that, and then they realized, hey, that's dumb. We should do this, officially.
The problem is,
so everybody can see it.
Any suggestions now made by Americans to anyone in Europe is just not going to go over well.
It's just one of those things I have a hard time believing. Kind of like, you ever see the movie The Curse of the Black Pearl?
Oh, yeah.
I love that movie.
That's a good movie.
All three of the first ones are actually decent, but the first one was really good.
Yes.
And there's a scene in that movie where they're all in the jail. Do you remember this scene? And the pirates or the sailors or whatever they are crying because it's the Black Pearl, and they never leave survivors. And Jack Sparrow just happens to be in the next cell over, who we don't really know yet at that point.
Yeah.
But then he says, they never leave survivors. I wonder where the stories come from then. And it just started making me think this week about that kind of stuff, because there are so many unbelievable things out there.
Yeah.
That people, for reasons that I just don't get, still believe. Chemtrails. People still believe that jetliners are dumping chemicals into the air. You can go back to World War II and see photographs of B-17s over Germany's with contrails, because this is an atmospheric condition, not a chemical. This is Alex Jones. They're turning the frogs gay. You can look it up. It's on the internet. They're causing you to get cancer. And yet, our lifespan keeps going up. Fewer and fewer people are dying of cancer, right? Unless I'm delusional.
Yeah. Cancer is increasing in the youth, because of the COVID shots, right?
COVID shots and processed foods. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I know. My grandmother in 1976 died from multiple myeloma. From the time she was diagnosed to the time she died, it was like a year. My Uncle Joe, 20 years later, had the same disease and lived for like 25 years with it. Things change. Things again. People are not dying more because of these things, because they're not putting chemicals in the frogs that are turning them gay. Then you get the story this week about Matt Gaetz. Did you see this? Matt Gaetz. And I do mean Gates. That's Gates. Okay?
Well, it's spelled that way, right? Gates.
I don't know. He went on the air because he has got a podcast too, of course. Talking about how aliens are interbreeding with illegal immigrants. The illegal immigrants that we catch, we're forcing them to interbreed with the aliens that we caught. And there's some congressman from Tennessee who says, yeah, I can't talk about that because I'm still in Congress.
Well, I mean, hasn't the succubus, incubus thing been around for quite some time? I mean, the whole idea of those myths were that people were even getting abducted and...
But here's the congressman saying, well, I can't talk about it because I'm still in Congress. You can't talk about this because you're still in Congress, but you'll talk about anything and everything else?
You'll hint at things
Yeah,
that you're
you'll
not
hint
supposed
at
to
things
talk about?
that you're not supposed to talk about. Don't give me that. But people believe this. People believe that aliens are being interbred with illegal immigrants.
Wasn't that on a podcast too?
Yes. Now, if you think about this for a moment, and you wanted to stop illegal immigrants from coming to your country, wouldn't you just say, look, when we catch them, we force them to breed with space aliens?
Well, I don't know, because maybe that's the genetic superhumans come from that. So would you want the illegal aliens to do that, or would
I
you
don't
want
know. Maybe the aliens are really good at sex and you'll enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Daily Express this week had a story about the war in Ukraine, claiming that, 33,000 Russians had been killed that week.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And, of course, the Daily Express is known for, how shall we say this, over-exaggeration.
Okay.
And, of course, Ukraine, they seem to just go along with this because, why wouldn't you? Hey, we killed 30,000 of your people. You shouldn't come here anymore, maybe. The whole thing doesn't make sense.
It's why they published the shots of all of the Russians getting hit with drones.
Okay.
Right? They're trying to discourage.
That scares me. It still does.
It does, but that's another discouragement, right? It's part of the propaganda as well, is that they're pushing out there to discourage the Russians.
Okay. But the Russians, for the Soviets since the 1920s, have been experts at propaganda. Mm-hmm. Where's theirs? Where's their videos of their drones hitting Ukrainian soldiers? And for God's sakes, watching this, how would I know who's who? Anyway.
Well, I don't know. The American media loves to prop up the Ukrainians anyway, so.
Yeah, well, they're not.
Not that I'm pro-Russian, but.
No, I'm not. I mean, frankly, this is much like the Straits of Hormuz being closed. It's kind of to our benefit that they both keep acting like idiots.
Yeah.
So, let them be idiots.
Yeah.
And then the story comes this week. It may have come, the actual story of the rescue, the search and rescue of the American weapons systems officer who was downed in Iran.
Yeah.
And now the story leaks out about how we found him. Have you heard this story?
Some quantum technology?
Okay.
Quantum heartbeat technology?
There's a Star Trek episode in the first season where they're up in the Starship Enterprise, and there's only 12 people on board, and they've shut down all the engines because the orbit's going to decay. And Ben Finney has sabotaged the ship, and he apparently has died, and Kirk's on trial. The episode is called Court Martial, and he's on trial for ejecting Ben Finney when he wasn't supposed to, blah, 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 blah. And the way Spock figures out how to prove that he's still alive is they've got a microphone. It's literally a Shure microphone. Mm-hmm. But it looks spacey. So they're on the bridge, and they turn on the sound. They get this bum, 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 bum sound, and that's the sound of all the heartbeats on board. Mm-hmm. And then Doc McCoy goes around with the microphone, and he twists it, and it masks out that person's heartbeat. Mm-hmm. And it gets softer and softer and softer until they get to the last person. They do his, and they still have a heartbeat. Bum, bum. And they figure out that that's Ben Finney, who's not really dead. Mm-hmm. And they localize it. That's something you got to keep in mind here. Kirk says to Spock, localize that. Engineering, deck 3.
So that'd be triangulation.
Triangulation.
Yeah.
So they go find him by his heartbeat. Star Trek, 1966. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now we're told that we found this pilot by basically doing that. They call it the ghost murmur.
Dave, we're trading sex for alien technology.
All right, here's what I find. Why do people believe this? Do you understand how ridiculously complicated such technology would need to be? And by the way, let us not forget that just 3 days ago, Artemis was bobbing in the ocean complaining that the search and rescue radios, the encrypted search and rescue radios that we have, don't work. They can hear us, or we can hear them, but they can't hear us. Are you pressing the push to talk? Yes, you freaking idiots. We know how to use a radio. Don't work.
Aren't they all doctors?
They're all pilots, too, aren't they?
Yeah.
They know how to use... Anyway. So now we're told this ghost murmur thing works, and people are losing... Yeah, Rob's got one in his hand. Does it work? So now people are losing their stuff over this, going, oh, this is so incredible technology. And here's the part that bemuses me. Everybody, including us, is talking about it. First question I have. If we actually had this technology that could detect a human heartbeat from space? A high-altitude airplane?
Dave.
Why would we tell everybody that we have it?
Dave, you know it's the chip they implant in the military, right? They track the chip.
Mine.
Yeah, so there you go.
So, here's the problem. Even with quantum magnetometry, synthetic diamond sensors, the magnetic field of a human heart follows the inverse cube law. That is, it drops off much faster than light or sound, the signal that it makes. Detecting a heartbeat from 60 kilometers away is like trying to hear a pin drop in a hurricane from the next town over. Even if the sensors are, quote, exquisite, as they were described by Director Ratcliffe, the background electromagnetic noise from the Earth's aircraft's own engines, and even the Iranian military gear would swamp it. This thing is so ridiculously unbelievable that people are talking about it like it's UFOs and aliens. Well, they must be real because they're interbreeding with the illegal alien stock to create something. Why would you do that?
Maybe the guy's an alien-human hybrid, right?
Oh,
maybe they tracked the alien material in his body.
So what am I missing here? Because obviously
he's a Vulcan. He's got two hearts.
Maybe it's not two hearts. It's just lower in his abdomen.
Okay.
He has green blood.
Time Lord then.
Right. But what am I missing here? Because the way podcasters are talking about this is like, oh, it's a fact. It's reality. It's real. Because the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, admitted, quote unquote, that they used this to find they just happened to use it. They happened to find the pilot. They called up the military and say, hey, your guy's over there. And the military launched this giant multi-pronged operation to go get him based on this CIA report.
It's probably just a temporary radio signal broadcasting the Allah Akbar thing that in a certain frequency that the military was looking for and waiting for, but that anyone else heard it, that's just another believer.
Well, now we have this thing called C-cell beacon, combat survivor evader locator beacon, this is not far-fetched. I mean, burst transmission on a satellite system that's been around since the 60s. So it's more likely that something like that occurred. So why feed everybody this story about ghost murmur? We can find the heartbeat of a pilot in the Iranian mountains all the way around the world.
Well, because what are the offensive implications of having technology like that?
It's my favorite scene in Coming to America. Taste the soup. Taste the soup. Where's the spoon? Aha. Anyway, I can tell the whole joke. But, yes. So if people are stupid enough to believe that, let's go through this list again. If people are stupid enough to believe, sorry, I got the wrong file there, that the Black Pearl never leaves any survivors.
Mm-hmm.
They never leave any survivors. Oh no, what are we going to do? Where do the stories come from? If people are stupid enough to believe that chemtrails are making the frogs turn gay and giving you cancer, I'm not going to go so far as to say the COVID vaccine isn't problematic, because that one's kind of turning out to be true. But then again, think about how that came about. I mean, that wasn't secret technology. That was just a bunch of people going, hey, here's a chance to make money. Let's throw something in a box, put it in a needle, and go.
It was the Wuhan meat market that was the myth.
Right. Right. If people are stupid enough to believe that chemtrails are causing you cancer, don't send me the emails explaining to me why you think they are, because, again, I don't read them. So you're wasting your time. It's not even going to make you feel better, because I'm telling you right now, as soon as the email comes in and it says chemtrails, it goes, dink, delete. Never even see it. Okay. If people are stupid enough to believe that, if people are stupid enough to believe that Matt Gaetz' story and the congressman's story, that the illegal immigrants are being force bred with, what are they? Oh yeah, UFO aliens, captured UFO aliens. Which brings me back to my primary theory about UFOs, which is, if their technology is so great, why do they keep crashing? How did we catch them? If their technology is so far advanced, how are they so vulnerable to us?
We are a unique species in many ways, and our unpredictability.
Yes, we ghost murmured them. We said, "Oh, look, there's an alien heartbeat." If you're dumb enough to believe this Daily Express story on anything, really in the Daily Express, but specifically that 33,000 Russians were killed in a week, they're just playing on our gullibility when it comes to this ghost murmur thing. Now, again, the CIA is the one that admitted this. The military's just kind of gone along with it. The military knows the reality, which is this is absurd. But think of the advantages we have in telling them this story.
Well, and it started off with a discombobulator a while back, right?
Yeah. If we keep telling everybody in the world that we can find you by your heartbeat no matter where you are, what effect does that have?
And back that up with some precision strikes.
Well, look what happened in Lebanon this week. Israel launches 100 coordinated strikes within 10 minutes of each other to take out basically all of Hezbollah's leadership.
Yeah.
Of course, we come to find out later that Hezbollah is still using basically pagers and cell phones and email and telephones.
And hospitals and schools.
To coordinate this idea that they were going to have, because the government of Lebanon, I guess, was going to announce that they were going to negotiate with the United States and Israel. And Hezbollah decided, well, we'll just take over the government. And they did this open channel. And Israel went, no, you're not. Boom. Boom. So that one kind of makes sense. But think of everybody else. Think of the Ayatollah, the current Ayatollah, who, by the way, as I'm understanding things, does not know that he's the Ayatollah because he's been unconscious for several weeks now. We can locate him by his heartbeat.
Is this like a Weekend at Bernie's thing?
I guess that is kind of funny. Ayatollah weekend at Ayatollah's. Weekend with Mullah. Weekend with Mullah too. We're going to the Caribbean. Am I the only person that likes that movie? I think I am. Anyway, the message there is, even if your brain says to yourself, this is ludicrous, this could not work, it can't work. It's a plot device from a Star Trek episode, for God's sakes. Even if your brain says that, there's that little voice in the back of your head that says, but what if it's true? Isn't there?
Well, I mean, we don't know what technology they actually have access to, and from the people that I knew that were that had relatives in the State Department, they always said that the government's always about 10 years ahead of the general public when it comes to technology.
Well, I understand the 10 years ahead thing. Believe me, I get that. But again, I come back to, is there any comprehensible idea that changes the quantum mechanics of this thing that would make that work?
Well, but if they're 10 years ahead, think with AI. What does that mean, right? If they were 10 years ahead with AI's help.
It means they could fire 30,000 people and not have to use people to do it. But then what if it's wrong? What if they go, well, we got this signal out here in this mountain and we sent the entire 7th Airborne Division and turned out he wasn't there.
It was a goat.
Now.
That would have been funny.
Consider this for just a moment. Talking about things. Hey, let's hold on. Think about things that in a larger context here. What are we trying to do in Iran? What's the goal?
Well, the goal, I think, is they want to get the people to stand up and rise up against
I don't think they want to do that at all.
You don't think so?
I think
they want to control the
I think
oil
we're past that point. I think we literally don't care.
Forcing Europe really to take their own.
Number one is prevent Iran from getting a weapon. Nuclear. Yeah. That's it. That's the goal. Number two is to say to Europe, hey, this is yours. You take care of it. Yeah. Knowing that they cannot, and that they will make a pig's breakfast of the Straits of Hormuz, which screws over China, which we're okay with.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's that. So if the number one goal is to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, the one thing you have to make a nuclear weapon is what you call fissionable material. You have to have it. You can't make an atomic weapon unless you have that. What if this whole thing was a distraction, a convenient distraction? There's an old saying in intelligence that the cover story has to be true. Mm-hmm. So when Bob Ballard found the Titanic, remember this back in 1985, he was out exploring the oceans looking for the Titanic. He was not. He was not looking for the Titanic. I mean, he was, but he wasn't. He was actually out testing the instrumentation that he used to find the Titanic to investigate some submerged submarine wrecks, the Scorpion and the Thresher, which the Navy needed some updated information on. Mm-hmm. And they said, oh, this new technology that we paid for, since we know where these two wrecks are, go look at them, investigate them, schedule them, study them, see if you can determine, A, if the reactors are safe, and B, if there's any evidence of maybe what actually happened. Yeah. That's what he was doing, top secret mission, which has now been declassified. You can actually see the video of him doing it. And, oh, by the way, if you do this, we'll give you 10 days to look for Titanic, which he did. Okay. And on the 8th day, he happened to find Titanic. Oh, yay. Great cover story, right? The cover story is true.
Yeah.
The real mission. What if they got a gift in the sense of this pilot being shot down for a cover story? I'm not saying the pilot didn't get shot down. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is by having the pilot shot down, now all of a sudden we can turn this into this giant operation to rescue the pilot. And while we're doing that, let us grab, 60 kilograms of uranium that's just laying around Iran somewhere, since we're going to be on the ground anyway? I'm not saying that's what happened. Not even saying I believe that's what happened. I'm just saying that this whole thing about ghost murmur is insane. And I don't believe it. I just do not. We have search and rescue radios and C-cells and all that. Of course, the search and rescue radios are kind of suspect now after last Friday. But the bottom line is we've been rescuing pilots since World War II. We know how to do that. You don't need their heartbeat. Remember the guy in Bosnia, Scott O'Grady or whatever it was, escaped for 10 days? We didn't talk about, we were using this satellite thing to track his heartbeat. No. We were talking about him on a radio and all that kind of stuff. So I find that story to be so far-fetched. I find the physics of it, And I'm not a nuclear physicist by any stretch of the imagination, but I understand enough of it to know the theory behind it, and it just doesn't seem workable. That's why Star Trek was what we call science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great idea. Could it work? I work with sound every day, and I'm telling you, if you'd have been around here pre-show, you'd know that sound does not behave the way you think it should. So,
darn it.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not buying that story. I'm not buying the whole story about the Black Pearl never leaving survivors. I'm not buying the story about. I've never bought the chemtrail story. Matt Gaetz is full of shit, and I don't believe there are aliens. They might be interbreeding captured illegal immigrants with somebody, but it ain't illegal aliens. Right? Don't believe the Daily Express on anything, let alone they're the only ones reporting that, by the way, that 30,000 Russian soldiers were killed. And I sure as heck don't believe the Ghost Murmur story. What about you? All right, should we go to Swalwell now and then come back to Artemis?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that. You ready?
Yeah, sadly I'm going to need coffee at some point.
We'll go do it now.
It's going to be 5 minutes. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm just going to edit it out anyway.
All right. Well, I'll be right back.
I'll just sit here and watch cricket. Well, I can't turn that on while this is recording. Rod has gone away. He is out of coffee. And unlike me, because, when I'm out of coffee, I soldier on to the show and I keep going because, that's what you do. Rod instead has, demanded a break to go and spend 5 minutes making coffee. So it's just me for 5 minutes. Is that weird? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's going on here. Let's see what we can talk about for 5 minutes. You see the Ichiro? I'm from Seattle. Ichiro statue. So Ichiro Suzuki is a big guy up here. He's big, everybody loves Ichiro. And he retired, and they built a statue for Ichiro outside the stadium here in Seattle. And they had the unveiling on Friday. And it has him in his classic pose where he's got the bat out front and he's pulling his shirt and he's looking out there. It's the classic Ichiro pose, and so they're doing this, and as they're getting ready to unveil it, I'm not making this up. You can watch this on the interwebs. Anyway, as they're pulling the cloth off the statue, I guess it's snagged on the bat or something, and it ends up bending the bat. So the bat is looks like it's got ED. I mean, it's bent in half. So they pull it off, and Ichiro's standing right there. So he's looking up at this thing in his suit with his sneakers, which is bizarre to me. But anyway, he's watching this thing as the cloth comes off, and the bat is over, bent like in half. Like, you know how you take like a cardboard tube, and you're doing wrapping paper tube, and you just sort of bend it, and it just sort of goes, it doesn't break, it just looks like that. So Ichiro's standing right there, everybody's standing right there outside the stadium, and this thing goes like that. And, it's pretty funny. So the guy that made the statue, the guy that actually makes it, he actually has to get a ladder, and he's on a ladder at the edge of the statue, and he's climbed up there, and he's trying to straighten the thing out. And I don't know what kind of metal it's made out of. I really don't. I would assume bronze, but he's able to bend it, and he gets the bat back up. But of course now the bat has this big old crease in it where it bent over, and it's just barely staying there. You can see it's like it's shaking in the wind, and it wants to break down, but it doesn't. So So that's been the big excitement up here in Seattle this week is the Ichiro statue. I'll put the video of that in the front of this because it's worth watching. I mean, really, just the expression on everybody's face as the whole thing just goes bananas. Let's see. Minneapolis is considering legalizing adult bathhouses. Minneapolis is considering that. Just wait till the Muslims find out about that up there. They're not going to approve that. And, of course, then there's the whole thing about the MMIW 2LSQGBQ plus chick who's talking about the two-spirited... The missing and murdered indigenous women thing is actually a big deal up here. We're surrounded by Native American tribes, so that's not unusual. But the use of that phrase just really did not go over well, and she is just getting pummeled on the internet over using all of that. So it was interesting. Been an interesting week, I guess. But here we sit, waiting for Rod, because he did not make coffee before the show started. I made coffee before the show started. Of course, a couple of weeks ago I didn't, but today I did. So here I am. I'm currently watching cricket. Nice spinner there. Got the guy on. Well, he hit it for 4 anyway, but anyway. I want to give him so much shit about this. And here's the best part of all this, and only you know this because you're watching right now. I'm going to leave this in. So, hey, welcome back.
Oh, what are you leaving in?
The part where I was talking about the Ichiro statue while you were gone. And only the Ichiro. That's all I talked about. Ichiro.
Okay.
You know, we talked about it the other day.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Here, we ready to go now?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
He's now coffeeed up.
I am. Fresh. Oh, num, num, num.
Speaking of stories that are hard to believe,
Okay.
Eric Swalwell, congressman from California, is running for governor of the state of California.
The Eric Swalwell that was involved with some Chinese
he
foreign
was
agents?
sleeping with a Chinese spy.
Okay.
That Eric Swalwell.
Okay.
As far as I know, he was not being forcibly bred to the illegal immigrant spy, but it's possible, I suppose. Maybe the CIA was using him that way. Eric Swalwell, who, other than that, has no real claim to fame, is running for governor of the state of California, which is not unusual by any stretch of the imagination. One of the greatest joys of my life was living in California for 25 years. The recall election. You remember this when Governor Gray Davis was recalled?
Yeah.
And there were 2 questions on the ballot. Question number 1, should Gray Davis be recalled? Yes or no? And if he is recalled, which of these 3 pages of candidates do you want to vote to replace him? Which included, by the way, Gary Coleman. Yes.
Yeah.
That Gary Coleman. And several porn stars, as I recall.
There were.
Anybody that had to spare $1,500 was on that ballot, because that's what it cost to get on the ballot.
Yes,
I thought about it myself, but then I thought, I'd really rather have a new computer back then. And
yeah, but then you could have said, former
gubernatorial candidate.
California.
So it's not unusual to have dozens of people running for governor in California.
Okay.
Now, for those of you who are not keeping up, and I don't know who you are, and I don't really care, California does not have... They have a primary election, but it's not like you're used to. It's not like the Republicans pick their candidate, the Democrats pick their candidate, the Libertarians pick their candidate. No, this is what's known as a jungle primary. Everybody gets thrown into the same basket, and whoever the top 2 vote getters are get to be the general election candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And this has resulted numerous times in California in 2 members of the same party being on the ballot in the general, which is not what the the inventors of this had planned. I know because I was there when it passed. And they kept assuring me that this could not happen. I had them on my show.
They didn't really consider the fact that one party could just be winning over and over again, nor did they consider the fact that pendulum could swing back. And the other party
certainly didn't consider that. And the first time that happened, and there were 2 Republicans on a ballot for some meaningless district race up in Northern California somewhere, they went snake bananas. I mean, it was apoplectic. This shouldn't happen. But it's happening everywhere else, only the other way. You're okay with that. So, as I understand it right now, and again, this may not be, accurate, but as I understand it right now, there are 5 quote-unquote major candidates. Kamala Harris, who has not announced that she's running, by the way. Katie Porter, who I have no idea who is. Xavier Becerra, who is is he not the Attorney General? I'm trying to remember. Rob Bonta and Betty Yee, Betty Yee's one of those insane people, but there you go. Those are the major candidates. Mm-hmm. And the assumption is that Kamala Harris, who has not announced that she's running for governor of the state of California yet, the assumption is that if she announces, she's polling at 40% and she's not even running. Mm-hmm. Okay, so who knows what's going to happen there. Then there are what are known as the, quote, lower-tier candidates. Lower-tier candidates consist of, are you ready? Eric Swalwell and others. His polling is so bad that it's in the low single digits or actually below polling thresholds. This is what has led to my nickname for Jay Inslee. I call him Zero because remember when he ran for president in 2020? Yeah. He was polling zero. Statistically, there were not enough people who said, I'm going to vote for Jay Inslee in the primary to even register. It was below the rounding point. Yeah. He was zero. And yet he kept going. It's like, dude, the only person above, Kamala Harris was like 1 or 2%, I recall. She ended up not getting it, and that's why she got named vice president, because, you want somebody with a lot of appeal on your ballot as your vice president. So,
or has a firm grasp on Venn diagrams.
Yeah, or a firm grip on Willie Brown's. Anyway, so bottom line here is that Eric Swalwell is a non-factor in this California race. That's the important part of it. But he's pulling just enough that it's causing the Democrats, who, by the way, haven't even started yet, really, some problems in the polling game. This is what's so stupid about this whole thing. The polling game shows the Democrat Party so fractured that the 2 Republican candidates are in first and second place in the polling. Now, again, this is Kamala Harris not running yet.
Steve Hilton. Yeah.
Yeah. So the call has, and I've made this call myself. I've had this same, back I think it was 2014, somewhere there. I did the same. There were too many Republican candidates. They were splitting the vote. It was causing problems. And the Republicans started winnowing candidates, and they settled on that insane guy, Neil Kashkari, which was the wrong guy all the way around. You think Kash Patel has crazy eyes? Go look up this guy. Kashkari was, and then he pulled his whole homeless in Fresno stunt, and long story short. The bottom line is, even I have said, you got too many Republican candidates, you're splitting the vote, you're going to, in a jungle primary, it's not going to work. So I understand the argument. But the guy's polling less than 1%. He's not your problem. Or is he? Is there something that he knows that he has that they're saying, well, what if he decides to drop this bomb on somebody else? We got to get rid of him now.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't.
They get him primaried out.
But they can't get him primaried out because he's splitting the vote. He's splitting the vote. He's splitting the vote. He's splitting the vote. Is Betty Yee splitting the vote?
No.
Is Katie Porter splitting the vote?
Wow.
Is Xavier Becerra?
Said.
No, of course not.
Tom Steyer,
Of course not.
who runs every year.
Right. So
Every
these
election.
guys aren't splitting the vote, but Eric Swalwell is. So you got to get rid of him. Got to get him to withdraw from the race. So magically, he is suddenly accused of sexual assault.
With videos of him kissing
Right. I mean, again,
kissing on prostitutes.
are they prostitutes? Do we know they're prostitutes?
That's what, of course. X says it, so it's got to be true, right?
So I'm told that it's a former congressional staffer that, according to Reuters, alleges 2 non-consensual sexual encounters in 2019 and 2024 in New York, saying that she was, quote, too intoxicated to consent. This always leads to an interesting discussion with my wife because she can't comprehend how you get that drunk to the point where you can't consent knowing that something might happen. Wouldn't you say to yourself, well, I probably shouldn't drink?
Yeah.
This is why for 17 years I have been trying to get my wife drunk, and she refuses to do so. But that's another story for another day. Probably not here. This congressional staffer has described one of these encounters as rape. 3 additional women have now accused him of misconduct, including unwanted sexual messages or explicit images. He's sending people his junk. Or unwanted physical contact.
Well, so now the Republicans are all, hey, you got to believe every woman.
Okay. Yeah. Putting all that aside for the moment, does this not strike anybody else as just, again, if this actually happened, and I'm not saying it didn't, but if this actually happened, why are we hearing about it now? This is the Democrats' playbook, by the way.
Yeah.
Find people from years ago who make accusations, which may or may not even be provable, to get a political outcome that they want, which is, in this case, they want Eric Swalwell out of the California race.
Yeah, they want him to drop.
Ostensibly so that he does not split up the vote. I suspect that he's got something on Kamala. That's just my look. There's a reason why she's out.
She's not. Yeah,
right. Yeah. There's a reason why she's not eagerly going, yeah, I'm going to run for governor of state of California. There's a reason why, and I don't know what. Nobody knows what that reason is. Maybe Swalwell thinks he does. But again, we've reached a point where now these accusations come out of the woodwork, which again, if this was true, why didn't it come out right then? And I think the answer is very clear and very plain, and that is that no one, all of these people, every endorsement that he had has dropped. Every Democrat has said he needs to drop out of that race, but not one has said he needs to resign from Congress.
Yeah.
So you're fine with a sexual assaulter in Congress, but not as your gubernatorial candidate polling less than 1%. He's not splitting your vote in California. Am I the only one that looks at this and says the Black Pearl never leaves any survivors? Well, where do the stories come from then? Am I the only one looking at this going, oh, well, you know how they found out was ghost murmur. This story
just heartbeat to this hotel room.
This story stinks like the inside of the Artemis capsule after a 9-day flight to the moon. I just think it's weird that you can't call them the Cleveland Indians, but you can call them the Mumbai Indians. That just seems odd. Hey, Artemis is back. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
Artemis came back on. So you should be here during the breaks, because you just never know what's going to happen in the breaks. Rod may need to go get another cup of coffee and let me ramble for 5 minutes.
It's a dangerous thing
It's a dangerous thing. You just never know what's going to happen. So Artemis made it back. I am surprised at myself in some ways, because literally for 9 days, do you know what was on my television for 9 days?
The Artemis
mission. Even when they weren't doing anything, even though they were just sleeping. I'm just sitting here watching the little numbers tick across the screen, moving the ship around so that I can see where the Earth is and see where the moon is. And 9 days I did that. And I kept thinking to myself, and I actually said this to Pat Lair, was we've come a long way since 72, the last moon mission, because back then, let's see, we may have gotten on the evening news, the launch.
Yeah.
We may have gotten a special news report, breaking their landing or whatever. Mm-hmm. We didn't get any of this.
No.
We didn't get anything like this. And I don't know why I'm so glued to it. I just am. And I know I'm going to do it again. If it happens again, I'm going to be right there.
So, I guess this is kind of proof, because you can watch it, that the Earth is round, and so is the moon, that the moon is real.
Yeah, well, you know how I feel about that. Speaking of people who believe stupid things. Nobody actually believes that the Earth is flat. They just want attention so that it can be interesting at parties. So Artemis makes it back. I don't know if you watched the splashdown or not, the re-entry.
I didn't watch it, no.
This was so cool. Because for some reason, the initial entry was right over Australia.
Okay.
And so they get to a point where you notice that the Earth on the video isn't rotating anymore, because they're aimed right at Australia.
Yeah. Kind
of east of Australia a little bit. And they're coming in and in and in and getting faster and faster and faster. And then they do the move, the eject the service module thing, and they do the thing where they rotate so that the blunt end is back, and you don't, all now you see is the horizon of the Earth, which is clearly round.
Yeah.
And space. And they had video of that. Live from the cabin video. All the way up to the point where they lost the communication blackout because of the plasma envelope.
Yeah.
Which is normal. They lose that about 6 minutes before landing. It lasts about 6 minutes. So it's like 10 or 12 minutes before. I don't know. Anyway, it lasts 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So up until the point where they lost that communication, you had that video. You could see the Earth going by really fast, 25,000 miles an hour, and see flames flying by. Mm-hmm. Then it cuts out. And we all sit here for 6 minutes going, do, 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 do. I kept saying to myself, I should go get something to drink, something to eat right now. And I couldn't do it. I just sat here waiting for 6 minutes. And I've been around long enough to remember when they would come out of this envelope, they would come out of that radio silence thing, and you would get Odyssey, Houston, psh, blank.
Yeah.
Apollo 8, Houston, psh, blank. Not this time, man. Integrity, Houston. Integrity, go. I mean, it was instant. They were right there. And you're like, huh. But the video, because now we got cameras that can do things that they didn't have in 1972. We've got this thing on camera coming down through and you can tell it's just falling.
Yeah.
And you're like, how high are they? Because they're moving pretty quick. And then you see the drogue chutes deploy. And you go, oh, maybe they're not as far. And then the main chutes come out, and you're waiting for the main chutes because the main chutes go out and they just kind of stream for a minute. And then they're like real slow before they finally open up. And then it's like 30 seconds later before they hit the water.
Yeah.
They're not on those mains for very long at all. And you're all like, oh, God, the relief. And then the humor starts.
Yeah.
Because the search and radio radars do not work. Okay. That isn't even the best part. The best part is the sat phone didn't work either.
Yeah.
They were trying. So they got a satellite phone, got a search and radio phone. None of it's working.
Bet you they had Starlink next time.
Well, I know they had iPhones on there because they were there's video of them taking pictures with the iPhones. And I'm wondering, okay, I've been to San Diego with my iPhone. I went out to Point Loma, and the whole time I was in Point Loma, it kept saying, "Welcome to Mexico," and sending me a message about roaming charges. So I'm like, I wonder if anybody has a SIM in one of those things, and I wonder if it's telling them they're in Mexico. And maybe that's why because that has been the first thing I would have done. I would have said, you know what, let's just call on the iPhone.
Yeah, let's call Houston.
But I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a cell phone company,
Hola?
¿Cómo estás? Everything great. Muy bueno. If I'm a cell phone company, aren't you picking that audio up and going, ever been stuck at sea in an Artemis capsule with no service? You need our service.
We got you covered.
We got you covered. I'm surprised Elon Musk hasn't done that yet. But eventually they got to him. And online it's funny because everybody's bitching about, well, why did it take him so long to get him out of the capsule? Well, first off, the thing just fell through the atmosphere at 25,000 miles an hour. It's hot.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the first one to go up there and put your hand on it and go, well, is it still hot? Yes, it is.
Can you imagine writing down that work injury?
Well, and it's the Navy, so it's not even really an element. Can you imagine the lessons learned file for that? It's going to be like that thing.
How could this accident have been avoided?
Yes, some yeoman's going to have to type that up. Oh, great. Anyway, they got him out. They got him home. And so here's my question on all of this. As fascinated as I am by this, and I'm 62, and I felt like I made Ben watch the landing. I made him watch the launch, because he's always asking me that. How did it feel back then? Now you know.
Well, here's your opportunity.
Yeah. In 1972, though, there was a whole lot of, why are we wasting money on this? We could be spending money on this. I'm not hearing that now.
I heard a little bit.
Okay.
On X, though.
Okay. I haven't heard much about it. And in 1972, the mindset was, well, this is very dangerous. It's very difficult. It's very costly. Someone's going to die doing it. I'm not hearing that now either. And I'm wondering if progress is inevitable. Have we reached the point now where we weren't in 1972 where we're going to say, look, we're going to the moon. We're going to Mars. It's a fact. We're going to do it. So get on board. It's like AI. You can get on board with it or you can be left behind. Has humanity's mindset changed? Has Americans' mindset changed now? Is it going to matter if we get another president? Or are we still going?
Well, the aliens come out and they tell us that they're already there on the moon. It's really a Death Star on the backside.
What do you think? WTF at whatthefrock.org. Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Dave. Holy shit, there's one of those robots on the field. Those dog robots. What did you say? Rod, there's one of those robots on the cricket field, on the pitch.
Running around?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm Rabbi Dave.
I'm Friar Rod. And I'm not watching cricket at the moment.
Dude. That's insane.
Does it have a camera or something on it?
I have no idea. They're not showing it if it does, but it's like one of those police robot dogs that you see all the time. Running onto the field. That's just weird. Hey, the good news is Colin Kaepernick is back. Not in the NFL. He's written a book.
He's turned into author.
Yes. So Colin Kaepernick has written a book, and I can't wait to not read that.
Do you think he's actually going to make money off the book? Not him per se, but the publisher is going to make.
He already got his advance, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The publisher. Are they going to get the
you'll be able to buy it on the remainder table at Barnes & Noble in about a month.
Yeah.
After it goes on. No, nobody's going to buy this book. Who wants to read what Colin Kaepernick thinks about anything?
Yeah.
It's there are people who matter, and there are people that, well, they're Colin Kaepernicks in the world, that they're irrelevant to anything.
Yeah.
If he was a good quarterback, he'd be playing. See, the NFL, the rule is just win, baby.
Yeah.
If you could win, you would be in the NFL regardless of all your other stuff. They don't care about all that other stuff if you win.
It was the same thing with Tim Tebow.
Yeah. Well, to that degree, yeah. So there you go. So I had a theory about the Kit Kats, but I can't remember what it is.
You were saying something about that, shouldn't the prime suspect actually be Nestle?
Shouldn't the prime suspect actually be Nestle with all the publicity they're getting out of this?
Maybe.
What if they stole them themselves?
Let's just misplace them.
Yes. That was fun to watch. But the real question of the week is, I've been working on a new logo for the show.
Yeah.
And as you know, we like to share with our people that support the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made this logo. Of course, Rod bitched about it because he didn't like how he looked in it.
Dude, man, I look like Jabba the Hutt. What are you talking about? Your face is nice and trim, and you've got your nice little beard, and I've got like 3 chins going on 4.
So Rod made me change it because he didn't like how he
I
looked.
think it was going to say.
So I changed it. And now I'm left with this question, and this is for the listeners. For those of you that support the show, or at least pretend that you support the show or whatever. Not that we could tell from the numbers last week, because I don't know what the hell happened last week, but is everybody on vacation or something?
It was Easter.
Is that what it was?
Well, it's Easter today, too, for Orthodox. But.
Right. At any rate. So here's the question that I have. So my first impulse was to make these into patches.
Okay.
Because I'm a sub-vet, we do patches. We sew patches on everything. But then I started thinking, stickers. People like stickers. Even I have a sticker on my laptop.
Okay.
And then I thought, well, and I look around and people have stickers on their coffee cups, they have stickers on their computers, they have stickers on their cars, which I think is insane, but hey, you do you, boo. So then I started thinking, well, would stickers be better?
Or
then
magnets.
I found patches that are stickers, so...
Or magnets, right? Magnets you could put on your
See,
car.
I'm like anti-magnet because I've been so attuned to the computer world for so long that I just get nervous around magnets. I just do. Sorry.
Well, I don't think magnets have any effect on SSDs anymore, so...
Yeah, well, it's not my point. It's just an inherent thing. So, anyway, I wanted to get your opinion on this. What do you think? Stickers or patches? Which would you prefer?
Okay.
With your new I'm asking
me.
you.
Oh,
yeah.
me. I think stickers are fine.
They're certainly cheaper.
They're cheaper. And the patches I would hold on to. But the stickers, I could have a number of them and put those on various different things.
Right.
I could hand those out to people easily.
Right. And the thing about stickers, if I order patches, I could get 50 of them. If I order stickers for the same price, I could get like 1,000. But then I'm stuck with 1,000 stickers, which only goes so far in my world. But what does the listener?
I'll pay for half, and then I'll take half.
What does the listener think? What do you prefer? Do you want a sticker or a patch? Or even, God forbid, a magnet. What do you think? We need to know. WTF at whatthefrock.org. And then what we'll have is, did I get that right?
Yeah.
You looked at me.
whatthefrock.org. Yeah.
And then what we'll do is we'll have a shipment of them disappear on their way to Poland, and we'll turn it into a lot of publicity. Just like Nestle did with their missing Kit Kats, which I don't believe are actually missing, because the only people who would believe that are people who believe in chemtrails.
You know who really missed an opportunity? Was Febreze.
For the Kit
With the
Kats?
Artemis capsule.
Oh, for the Artemis capsule, yes. God.
They missed the total.
God. With a toilet that didn't work.
Oh, heck yeah.
And they were talking about on the radio about stuffing all that stuff into the lockers.
If Febreze had sponsored them, man, just one little logo on the side or something like that, and a little stick-up thing for the Febreze in there. That would have been fantastic.
Maybe we'll send them a sticker to take to space next time.
Yeah, there you
What
go.
the Frock with Dave and Rob. On that note, I am Rabbi Dave,
I am a coffeed up Briar Rob.
and this has been just an unbelievable episode of
What the Frock?
So grab your frog and come aboard. This nonsense can't be ignored. We joke, we gripe, we spin, we sing while Rome burns on. We'll do our thing. What the frock is going on here? We may not know, but still we cheer. Raise your voice, your glass, your brow, because the frock is happening now.